So 10 years ago, I lost my son, was numb for quite a while. And I thought I've got to find a way to get out of my head and find some happiness and some joy again. Stop thinking about what's going on in my head and think about what I'm looking at and focus on something good. Focus on some happiness. My son, his name is Chris. He decided to go into the Marine Corps. So at the age of 17, he enlisted in the Marines, went over to Iraq, and he had to see and do some pretty horrible things. He came home and he had nightmares for a long time, would kick and scream at night. And he had a physical injury over there as well. When you have a physical injury, the VA gives you opiates. They give you Percocet. And he found that opiates not only dulled the physical pain, but it dulled the emotional and the mental pain. So then a friend of his offered him heroin for the first time. And he said that made everything go away. Didn't have to think about it. He went down that highway where he couldn't get off of it. And I didn't know. And I have a background in addiction. I have addiction training. I have a degree in addiction, and all of that book work does not prepare you for dealing with this. Because that's book work. When you're dealing with family member, especially your child that's dealing with this, you don't know what to do. He overdosed in 2013. From that, I've tried to do a lot of good and help families, help other people that are suffering, not tell them what to do, but just walk beside them and maybe give them some guidance, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. I always think of time before June 16th, 2013 and after. My life ceased to exist as it was before, and it's taken on a whole different direction and a whole different meaning. I've sat in hospitals with people whose kids have just passed away. There's a lot of sadness around this issue, a lot of sadness. He had a very good side, but then he also had a lot of, I want to say, demons that he was fighting with because of all of his past trauma. He was one of those that, put the game face on in the morning and went through the day, didn't deal with a whole lot. But he was very kind, very funny, hilarious. You could always hear him before you saw him. He was always singing, had a goofy little voice, always helped his friends. That's how he was. That's how I want to remember him. I don't let myself go to the place where I think about what he was suffering with and the torment that he went through, because it kills me as a mom to know that I couldn't get to him, I couldn't help him because he wouldn't accept that help. I just want to remember him as the funny, loving, kind person that he was, that fell into a really bad situation and couldn't get out, didn't know how to get out. So, he's a good kid. He was. He was a great father. In spite of all of his struggles, he loved his family, I wouldn't change him for anything. I would change what he went through, but I wouldn't change him as a person because he was a good person. Great kid. Love him, and I miss him every day.